Welcome to Raven Random Rants. This is your girl, Raven the Serial Poet, coming to bring to y'all another podcast of Random Rants. I know it's been a minute since I've uploaded. We was down here dealing with Hurricane Milton. He had to come through, show his ass a little bit. Then he just went about his business. Not complaining, but I hope everybody that was here in Florida made it out good. I know a couple of people was flooded out. Some people had to evacuate and things like that. But I have a lot of things on my mind. Y'all know this podcast is pretty much like my diary of some sorts. Sometimes I be on topic, sometimes I don't. But if you like it, make sure you subscribe to my Spotify, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I want to say follow me on Facebook. I have a page on there. So if you want to drop topics or comment on that page, different things that you want me to talk about, feel free to do so. I always check my page at random, so you never know when I discuss, your topic next or whatnot. So what I want to discuss is this. We done had hurricanes pretty much all this year. Right now we're looking at Nadine, I think. And what behooves me is in Congress they decided to deny any funds for emergency relief or whatnot. I think that's what I remember hearing. They voted on it. A bunch of Republicans said, no, we don't need any funding for natural disasters and things of that sort. I think it's a whole bunch of bullcrap because if they could spend all that money on war and different unnecessary things, they should be able to put a large amount of money towards natural disasters, whether that's earthquakes, tornadoes, tsunamis, um, hurricanes, whatever, blizzards too, because I'm not gonna count snow out. Snow is just like being in a mudslide, because God forbid it's an avalanche. Just like a mudslide, an avalanche will consume anything in its way and don't even care nothing about it. But yeah, I be in these internet streets, especially on Instagram. And I remember seeing something about that being said on Instagram, how people from they had to deal with Hurricane Helene, Helen or whatever, um, up north, where a whole city pretty much has gone missing, is no longer there. People, are still missing. The body count is still going up because, they still doing a lot of recovery up that way. But for them to say that we don't need natural disaster funding, and they denied giving FEMA more funding for situations like that, it behooves me. But they don't have to deal with it. It's like a lot of them that pretty much voted against it don't even live in Florida. Let's just make that clear. That's one. And then two, it's like, just like they voted against, the whole abortion thing, people not, pretty much making abortion illegal or whatnot. These two things, they would not even fathom going through it, because if they did, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have voted against it. Now they have this election coming up, and let me tell y'all something. I don't even pretend to know everything, because I don't. But what I will say is the same way y'all up and on voting about, who's going to be our next president, which I hope, if you have any common sense, that it would be Kamala and not Cheeto 45. Um, but while you voting for president, make sure you're voting for your next mayor, your next governor, um, the Senate, the Congress, the legislator, all that, because all of that goes hand in hand. And if you don't vote for those particular things, when bills are passed, you can't look at the president for that. You have to look at the Congress, Senate, and the legislator who passed it. Now, does the president have to sign it? No. Most of the time, it gets vetoed, or it gets pushed to the side, or it gets scrapped for the most part. But while y'all sitting here talking about, oh, Biden and Harris, Biden and Harris, Biden and Harris, that's all I've been seeing in the comment section on Instagram, talking about, oh, it's Biden and Harris' fault that we don't have no funding for this, we don't have no funding for that. They giving immigrants funding and yada yada yada. All of that may well be true. I don't know because I'm not into politics. But what I will say, y'all blaming everything on Biden and Harris. Y'all need to look into your legislature, your Senate, and the Congress. Look there first before you go to them, because they are last in line to know anything that's being passed. Let's just do that. Let's just say that. But yeah, the devastation of people dealing with these hurricanes. You could go on YouTube, TikTok, and you will see just thousands of people that was flooded out, that lost homes, pets, loved ones to this devastation. And the fact that, Congress, the Senate, and legislator is pretty much voting against stuff that will help these people is beyond me. Then this Cheeto 45 is walking around giving false information about, FEMA and the response time. Like, I filled out for FEMA myself because, the power was out. We lost some food. Applying for food stamps in Florida for emergency relief is a waste of time to me, because they will pretty much make it seem like they got to pay you for food out of their damn pocket, because they ask you 50 million questions and it just don't make no sense. Like, one of my friends, she was like, oh yeah, I applied for food assistance, and she said them people denied her because she was a mile outside of one of the flood zones, or one of the emergency zones. And I'm like, are you serious? A mile? She was like, yeah. So it's like, I'm in confusion. What is government assistance around for if they pick and choose when they want to assist you? So you mean to tell me people done lost out on food because the lights done went out and things like that, and they picking and choosing who they decide to give it to, and most of the people that they giving it to not using it for the right thing, because if they was using it for the right thing, these kids wouldn't be walking around looking like they haven't eaten. What's the point of you approving some and not others? The ones that's trying to use it for good, eating healthy and things like that, y'all don't want to give it to. But the moment that you see somebody big, sloppy, and whatever walk into the office, you put the judgment like, oh well, yeah, we're not gonna give it to. How they gonna lose weight if they plan on using it to, get fresh food, fresh vegetables, whatever? And y'all sitting there talking about, oh well, you know, I think it was like a while back they tried to make it to where you could only use food assistance to get. You couldn't get no junk food. That's what they tried to pass a bill on a while back. It was like a long time ago. They was trying to stop people from getting not fast food, junk food like chips and stuff like that, um, with their food assistance, but it didn't, pass. The bill wasn't passed. But yeah, that kind of made me look at this state totally different. And then the Satan as didn't want to receive Kamala's phone call, but I bet you if Biden would have called, he probably would answer him. But it's like for you to sit up there and refuse a phone call from the vice president that is trying to assist the people in the state of Florida is selfish. It's selfish as hell. And I feel like whoever voted him into office, I hope y'all realize y'all getting what that's what y'all get. Because if I remember correctly, they had a better candidate than him, but y'all decided to vote him in because of he decided he was gonna promise, oh, no taxes on something he promised. I don't even remember because, like I said, I don't follow politics. Lord, I don't follow politics. So it's like now there's no cap. These landlords is raising the rent because there's no cap on rent. Food is high as hell for no reason in Florida. The cost of living is too high in the state of Florida. And they don't want to pay none of their employees anything. So when people were sitting there talking about, oh, why y'all didn't leave? Y'all was asked to evacuate. What's going on with this and blah, 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 blah. I want y'all to think about something. And some people that live in Florida, they might have looked up and, found a good job to where they fine. But we're not talking about y'all right now. We talking about the ones that's barely scraping by, those who barely have a job as is, who barely making enough hours to make the pay to barely afford a roof over their head. So if they can't even afford food, insurance, a roof over their head, a car, public transportation, all the important essentials, if they can't barely afford to pay for those things, these things, or whatever the case may be, what makes y'all think that y'all could, that they could afford to leave, to evacuate? And from what I remember hearing on TikTok, they had like thousands of people stuck on the doggone thing trying to evacuate because Governor DeSantis didn't open both sides of the freaking interstate. So it only had one doggone side open. That don't make no sense. He was like, oh yeah, I approve for the other lane to be open so, it'll make evacuation easier. He did not. Because if you find video of people trying to get out of Florida, it was only one side that was open. So why wasn't the other side open, DeSantis? Huh? Why? Why wasn't it open? It just, this whole state, I shall pray for y'all. Because me, myself, along with the rest of my family, the family that I've created among myself, we getting the fuck out of Florida. Because Florida is going to hell in a handbasket. And it's like a car wreck that you see about to happen. And you just can't turn away. You just can't help but you look at it. It's happening in real time. Live in living color. And the people that was born and raised here, of course, they don't see it happening because they're like, oh, it's not that bad. I was born and raised here. I've been here 56 years, whatever the case may be. I'm not a native of Florida. I'm a native of Louisiana. And honestly, with the people that I left there, I don't claim them either. But what I will say, Louisiana is way better than Florida when it comes to certain things. Because if the cost of living is supposed to coincide with the wages. And here in Florida, I'm gonna give you some insight on something. In the hood, in the hood, you are going to pay 2,500 for a 2 bedroom in the hood. Now, where I live at, we're supposed to be paying like 2,100. But because we lived here for a good little hot minute before that, the law was passed that no cap was put on the rent. They didn't raise our rent by much because they did not want to lose us as tenant, because everybody else that was moving in around us or moving in with vouchers or whatever the case may be. We were the only one that's paying cash for our rent. But they don't want to fix anything. Their maintenance staff is lazy as fuck. The property manager, she lazy as hell. So it's like we're paying 1682.92 for a 2 bedroom that is full of mold. That, God forbid, I feel bad for whoever moving to this apartment, because all they gonna do once we leave, once we move out, I know for a fact the only thing that they're gonna do is they gonna either scrape off the water spots and things like that and paint over it. They gonna rip the carpet up and lay down new carpet, and they gonna rip up the floors and put down new floors. They're not gonna fix not a damn thing in this apartment. They got mold in the air condition thing in the hallway where the filter is being held. Like, if they look behind that air conditioner, like if they pull the motor out and all that, and they look behind there, I guarantee you they're gonna see nothing but black mold back there. Because it's all in the vents, it's all in the air. Me and my bestie has been sick since we've been in this apartment, but who can afford to move? Like, we just recently acquired the money enough to move, because between me working, between her working, that's the only reason why we're able to move now. And where we're moving to, for what we're paying for now, in a good neighborhood with a big backyard, with a pool in the back, we gonna be paying not even $850 for that. And I'm not gonna disclose where we moving to, because it's bad enough New Yorkers is coming here to Florida. We don't need them coming to where we gonna be at. And you could try to Google it, but the only place that's gonna probably pop up is Ohio and Oklahoma, and that's not where we going. Just know that we know some people that know some people that's gonna help us get to where we need to be at, and we gonna be straight to the point to where, like, yeah, we gonna be able to have a savings account and don't have to worry about dipping into our savings, because we gonna be well enough out to where that ain't even gonna be an option. But I feel so bad for the people of Florida. I do, because DeSantis is going to be the end all be all that's going to pretty much drive this state into the ground. So I hope, when they get ready to elect a new governor, mayor, and all that, that they choose more wisely and pick somebody that's going to help them and not have them stuck in situations that don't make no sense to be stuck into. Because this is ridiculous. It really is. But today is my mom's birthday, and I don't know whether y'all realize when you lose a parent, and whether you had a good moment with them or a bad moment with them. I know they be like, oh well, that's still your parent. They raised you, blah 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 blah. I'm gonna be honest. She was not the best mom ever. My dad was not the best dad ever. Um, Really, nobody in my family growing up did right by me. But I will say this: I celebrate her birthday every year, and my bestie, she always be like, I don't know why you celebrate her birthday, because from what you told me, how she treated you, growing up, I would not be celebrating her birthday. And I understand, different strokes for different folks, but if it was not for her raising me a certain way, I wouldn't raise my daughter a certain way. Like, parents, it is very essential to make sure that you show your kids love, compassion, that you let them know that, no matter what they do, no matter what they say, that your love has no conditions on it. Because I didn't have that. I had, when I was looking for bedtime stories, she was too tired or whatever. When I was looking for love, a hug, a kiss, whatever, she was like, well, I provide food, shelter, clothing. That's my way of showing you that I love you, or whatever the case may be. But that's why I make it a point to where, when it comes to my daughter, she had bedtime stories. I would go outside and play with her and, pretty much show her everything that I wanted. But I doubled up on it because I never want her to feel like I feel to this day, that the love was not reciprocated. And I always say, the way that you was raised is the way that you would get, into these relationships and things like that. And this is my segue to say, parents, be careful how you treat your kids, because they will grow up, not all, but some will grow up looking for you in their mate. Okay? Now hold on to that. Because I just realized, I want to say during Hurricane Milton, a weak moment that I had, I want to say I hit up my ex. No, I shouldn't have did that. Whatever. I don't regret it, because it kind of gave me the closure that I needed. So I hit up my ex and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it through the hurricane, because they say it's supposed to be a Hurricane 5. And I'm like, you probably don't even fucking care. If you get this message and you truly don't care, you could block me, whatever. Woo, woo. After the storm was over, I guess she must have waited until she could see whether the storm had worked out or not. Because after the storm, I went and checked to see if she saw my message or responded to my message. And of course, she blocked me. And that's all well and good, or whatever the case may be. And I say this to say, all of this. Well, I say that to say, y'all know what the fuck I mean. But, you know, a year ago, that would have broke my heart. It would have hurt my feelings, or whatever the case may be. But since I'm in such a good space right now, it didn't shock me and it didn't surprise me, because she's a selfish individual, and she's like one of those type of people to where she will call you And if she don't have no food or anything like that, she would make it a point to be like, feed you a sad story and be like, oh, well, I'm so hungry. I don't have no food. I haven't ate in a couple of days. And she probably ate like 30 minutes ago or whatever. Just so you can send her some money or send her some food. Been there, done that. I'm so glad that, her girl got to deal with that now. But it's like I did that, and then I thought back after everything was, said and done. I was like, every relationship that I got into with a woman, I pretty much was looking for the love and affirmation that I didn't get from my mom. Weird, yes. Logical, 50-50. But I didn't realize that until that point in time. And I was like, damn, because I remember somebody else telling me that a while back. They was like, you are attracted to women who pretty much treat you the way that your mom treated you. And at first I'm like, man, whatever, that's weird and all. But it's like now I see it. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, you're never too old to learn yourself, to learn about yourself or whatever the case may be. Because in that moment, the fact that she blocked me when I needed her the most, which is not her job no more because we're no longer together or whatever the case may be. But it costs nothing to give compassion and be like, oh, well, I'm going to pray that you make it out or whatever the case may be. You know, but I realized that I should never expect myself from someone else. And that's what a lot of people used to tell me, in friendships and things like that. They'd be like, oh, you do all these nice things for people. Your love language is words of affirmation and gifts. You give people gifts because, that's how you show love or whatever the case may be. But when people don't do that in return, you feel some type of way, which I do. And, you know, um, they was like, you should never expect you from someone else because other people could be natural born users or they're always in survival mode. And it's a lot of people that's walking around on this earth that take people like me. They either use, abuse, they don't reciprocate, they don't appreciate when people like me come along, whether that's friendship or relationship. And I didn't realize that, or rather, I didn't affirm that until that moment with her. Um, but I pretty much appreciated that fact because I'm like, man, she must really still be in her feelings about how things went last year because if she wouldn't, it would have went totally different. Whatever. Um, but yeah, I really needed that moment because now with the energy that it gave me, I'm like, okay, now I realize that yeah, what someone told me in the past is definitely true. I'm like looking for, love from people that probably don't even know what it means or what it looks like or what it feels like, to be loved or whatever. So now that I know that I don't want the love that my mom showed me, I actually want love that is like me. You know, um, I'm a very caring person, very compassionate person, and that's why a lot of people be like, you're a good person. I don't see how or why, you're single, whatever the case may be. Now, at this point in time, I'm not single, I am talking to somebody, but it's just the fact that every time a new person, comes across my path, they're like, dang, why are you still single? Whatever the case may be. And I always have the same comeback. I'm like, oh, you'll find out eventually. You will find out eventually. Because my ex, she found out because she said the same bullshit, which I think she was kind of like gaslighting me or whatever the case may be. But she was like, yeah, the people before me, they wasn't strong enough to deal with you, whatever the case may be. Apparently, she wasn't either. But that's neither here nor there. But it's like when you're in the mindset of you know what you want, and a person shows you that at the beginning, and then they switch up and stop doing the things that it was that they did to acquire you. I'm the type of person I would match your, what they say, match energy. If you stop reciprocating things, I'm gonna stop reciprocating things because what? Don't start giving me love letters and cards and stuff, and then all of a sudden just switch up and like, oh well, you asking for too much. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be, I got you now, so I don't need to send you no card. Like, really? I would never get that or whatever, but no longer will I date a Libra. I had no business dating a Libra because not only was my birth mom a Libra, my adoptive mom is a Libra, which is the one that I'm celebrating today. And my former friend, associate, whatever, and my former my ex or whatever the case may be. Yeah, that's too many strikes in one. And I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you can't go by horoscopes, you can't go by signs and things like that. You may not go by signs and horoscopes, but I do because of the simple fact that even though they say Tauruses is supposed to be compatible to me, they probably would if it's the right Taurus. But yeah, as far as I know, Tauruses make great friends. Like they are loyal, but I can't deal with stubborn intervent. Stubborn intervent. What is wrong with me today? I can't deal with stubborn individuals because it's like I'm the type of person to where I like structure and I love my bestie to death, but yeah, no. I've seen her date people and no. I'm cool out for Tauruses. Now, I might look into Scorpios because they say that's a good fit too, especially dealing with my personality and they're more on my level on other things. But the person that I'm talking to and dating right now, she's a Capricorn, and I really don't do well with Capricorns. I don't know why, but so far so good. Our conversation is A1. The reciprocation is off the charts. Like the way that she gives, I don't be expecting it. Like I think like for my birthday, she ended up getting me like I want to say it was um what is that thing called? She ended up gifting me like a digital camera because I told her that I wanted to start taking pictures and things like that. She gifted me with 5 dresses, and the thing of the matter is, I keep telling people like with some individuals, you could tell when I'm comfortable, right? Because when I'm comfortable and I can be myself, I'm in my feminine energy all the time, often. But if I feel as though you trying to bullshit me, you trying to love bomb me, or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna be in my masculine energy because I don't trust you, and so I'm gonna be aggressive, like very aggressive, very dominant. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that to me. Um, if you want to have your way, you're gonna have to look elsewhere. That's the type of time I'll be on. And she has me in my feminine energy, and I love it here. And we really haven't been talking that long, but I told her I want to, you know, try something different. I want to go slow because I'm always jumping into something, and that's not fair to her because if it don't work out, then we both gonna be looking kind of crazy. So I told her we gonna go slow, we gonna take our time, we gonna learn each other, and if we make it out on the other side as partners or lifelong companions or whatever the case may be, then I'm all for it. But even if we make it out as friends, that's cool too because it's a lot of people that I've dated that I'm still friends with. Some didn't make it to the friendship stage because one, they lied and was sneaky and conniving, and in the end I found out about it, and therefore you are the weakest link. Goodbye. But the other ones, where we had honesty, the vibe was cool. When things ended, it was amicable. Like, yeah, we still friends to this day. When I go back home, to go get some of my stuff out the storage to close my storage out, I plan on linking up with a couple of people. But for the most part, yeah, I'm no longer dating my mom or moms because both of them have issues. Like, issues. Like, I'm done. Like, and just like I said, I know some people don't believe in zodiac signs and all that, but Libras, or as I call them, Libras, they never have to worry about me even wanting to even talk to them or darken their doorstep or whatever freaking they are like the bane of my existence. Like, no, I would never ever again. Ever. I don't care if you're a September or October Libra. Nope. And we can't even be friends because I had a friend that was a Libra and she ghosted me after my mom passed. So, like, no. Mm-mm. I'm big on if I'm there for you, you be there for me, vice versa. Reciprocation is key. Communication is key. If you can't be there for me when I need you the most, at least communicate with me. Be like, hey, I would be there, but like, yeah, bro, life is life. And I know we adults, whatever the case may be. But my mom done, and you not there. But I've always been there for you. Like, nah. Mm-mm. But I'm gonna talk about one last thing, and then I'm gonna wrap this up. So I want to sit up. I'm trying to see the best way to say this. I want to talk about the fact that people are trying to pressure people to get married. Now, if you're trying to pressure people to get married and you're not even married, what's the point? Like, seriously, answer me this. What is the point? Like, what is the point of you saying, oh, well, I wouldn't dare be dating somebody and we've been together for 10 years and I haven't been proposed to and woo, 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 woo. I wouldn't dare. Like, you better than me, but you haven't had a date or a conservator, as they call it back in the day, in 7 years. So of course you wouldn't dare because you haven't even had a date, a conversation, a proposition in 7 years. Now, some people are like, oh, that's because I love myself and self love and I'm dating myself. And that sounds all well and good because I was there too. I'm like, yeah, I'm not dating nobody no more. Like, I'm over love, whatever. Which I am over love, but I'm not opposed to it, if that makes sense. But let's normalize minding our own business when we're single. Because if a man or a woman decides to stay in a relationship longer than they supposed to, that's their business. If they decide to have 10 kids and not get married and they break up and people sit up there talking about, oh, see, that's what you get. You should have got it right. Do you know how many people are married having kids and they still end up single parents? A marriage don't do nothing. It's a tax write off. The government is in it. It's like it's too many ins and outs when it comes to marriage. I was married. Yeah, I think I was married from 2006 to 2008. And when they say to death do us part, we literally stayed married until that man left this world in 2017. And people always were like, well, you was dating women around that time. Like, they didn't mind. I let them know I'm honest. I let them know ahead of time. I'm like, look, I'm still married. If you still want to fuck with me, that's cool. If you don't want to fuck with me, that's cool. But I'm not divorcing and giving up benefits, insurance, and everything that came with the title if you don't even plan on being serious. Like, the only time that I always said, I'm like, I'm not going to divorce him until somebody give me a reason to. And nobody gave me a reason to. So I didn't. Was that selfish? Yes. Did he mind? No, because he knew what it was, and he also got benefits from it because every time we would go to a function, every time I would have to go to the doctor or whatever the case may be with him, he always made it a point, even though we was not together, to say, "Oh yeah, this is my wife." Was it weird him calling me his wife? Yes, because they looked at me during that time that we were still married or whatever the case may be. I was dressing in big baggy Rockaway South Pole pants, shirts. I was rocking a big ass afro, looking like Cleo from Set It Off. And yeah, they was like, "Where your wife at?" Oh, she right there. They looking at me weird, looking at him weird, and we just look weird together. Like Kevin Hart say, we look fucked up as a unit. So, but yeah, let's normalize minding our business. If people want to get married, they will. If people want to get engaged, they will. If they want to have babies in or out of wedlock, they will. Ain't nothing you can do or say that's gonna make somebody rush into a situation that is not for them. So stop it. So, with that being said, I'm gonna end this podcast on a good note with my thought of the day. And my thought of the day is this: just because you can don't mean you should. And just because you will doesn't mean that you shouldn't. Because they have a lot of people that's walking around doing things because they can. But honestly, y'all just should not do certain things. So please take accountability. Think before you leap. And I'm going to get out of here because I have to celebrate my mom's death day, her happy heavenly birthday. Um, but if you made it to this point, make sure you comment down below that, whatever it is that you enjoyed from this entire podcast. Matter of fact, if you made it to this point, comment down below a peach. And if you're on Spotify listening to my podcast, if you made it to this point, make sure you like this podcast. So with this being said, I love y'all. Thank you for the love and support. And again, I'm on all social medias: Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So on any of those platforms, make sure you stay in touch with me. And with that being said, I love y'all. Later.